Hey guys, so here on this channel, we like to play games, we like to do reactions, and we like to tear into these kids who, for some reason, think that life is just meant to be easy. These kids who want all the benefits in life, all the wonderful things, a lavish lifestyle, but they don't want to put in any of the work. They expect it to just be right there for them right off the bat with no effort at all. Um, Now this person is going. I try. I'm trying. As someone like me, I have a lot of experience under my belt. Actually, I lied. I don't wear a belt, though I should because my pants just keep getting bigger and bigger because of all the weight I keep losing because of the job I have. I have stretchy pajama pants that I wear to work because it's a lot of bending over. But this string fell off and I can't. My pants, even with nothing in my pants, like no phone or anything, my pants are just falling down because I lose so much weight. Uh, but I have a lot of experience under my belt. Um, whether it be, my first job was a pizzeria to working at SeaWorld as a caterer or, in the stadiums or doing the games over there or being a CNA, Burger King. I work in a factory right now. I also take care of a 86-year-old who has dementia. So I've had over the 35 years of my life, I've had quite a few jobs. And each job gives you more and more experience and knowledge, and it helps you into the next job and maybe branch out into other things. Um, and in life, you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere to get things that you want. At first, you need to focus on things you need. So when you first start out, you need to focus on your rent and stuff like that, and you need to work to get yourself to a point where, hey, I can easily pay my rent now, and now I can finally get those things that I want. Sometimes you need to sacrifice to help things all come together nicely. But we're gonna hear what this young lady has to say.
Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live? 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a two-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food. So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted.
Says every single person since the beginning of time. Uh, Welcome to the real world, sweetheart. Welcome to the real world. And 1660 for rent for a two-bedroom apartment. You're obviously 1660 for rent, which means you don't have a roommate. Why do you have a two-bedroom apartment if you don't have a roommate? Why are you paying that much? Get a one-bedroom apartment. Or better yet, why not just do what most people are doing now? Just live with your parents until you're able to live out on your own. Is it fun? No. But that way, even if your parents ask you for a little something something to help them along and help you, like, well, it's a, it's another mouth to feed or extra utilities being used, they're not going to ask a lot. As long as you make it clear that, hey, I'm not going to be here long because I don't want to be here long, because that's what I had to do with my parents when I had to move back with them. I made it abundantly clear. I'm like, I am not staying here. Okay, this is this is a setback because I didn't have any contacts in North Carolina where I lived. So I couldn't say, oh, hey, I need another living situation. I had no choice. I made it clear to them that I was like, I'm not staying here. I'm not staying in Texas. I'm getting what I can and I'm leaving. So when they asked for money for, for like a rent type thing, it wasn't a lot at all. Just a little something to help with the extra utilities that that were being used for me being there. I bought my own food and all that. Just a little extra for them just to help pay the bills. But if you don't want to do that, why do you have a 2-bedroom apartment? Find a roommate. Find a roommate. Like 1660. You'll both be paying like what, $800, which is a hell of a lot easier and more, a lot better than having to pay 1660 by yourself. So that $2,000 a month will go a lot further if you had a roommate. Because, $800 for rent, right? $300 for miscellaneous. So 1660 looks like it's just base rent. There's no utilities involved. So you would have your electric bill, depending on where you live, could be a water bill. So electricity, water, internet, phone. I assume you have a car, so you have your car payments. You have gas that you need to provide, put into the car to get you to work. Your food, of course, if you have animals. If you're in an apartment, it's a pet-friendly apartment. You have your animals. Luckily enough, animals aren't that expensive unless they have to go to the vet or something. But most vets, sometimes, a lot of them have like a payment plan, like a monthly payment kind of thing. They work with you. So that 2,000 will get you a lot further than if you were doing it by yourself. So I would recommend maybe finding a roommate, someone to share the load with you. And 40 hours. I'm sorry. Every time these kids complain about 40 hours, I worked at SeaWorld in Texas heat. I worked for 17 hours a day. Yeah. During spring break, it was 2 weeks straight. I went to work at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I left at 2 a.m. I walked home, which took about 30 minutes. Got home, had to do my laundry and all that stuff. I went to bed maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. And then I had to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and do it all over again. And I was exhausted. And this was when I was living with my parents. I could have stayed home, I'm sure, and, like, oh, I'm not feeling that great. But no, every day I went to work like I was supposed to, because as an adult, you have responsibilities. And 40 hours, you still have the weekends. So you're not working all the time. It's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. You get back at, say, 5 o'clock. You go to bed, 9, like 10, 11 o'clock. You still have time. You may not be able to go out like, oh my God, we're going to go out and party tonight. No, you have to sacrifice sometimes. You have to sacrifice and give up some things until you get to a point in your life where you can have that kind of freedom. Is it fun? No. But again, I'm waiting for someone to show me the doctrine or the lost commandment or whatever it is saying that life's meant to be easy. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting. I'm here. I'm waiting for now. Where is this? Where it says life is meant to be easy. I don't know.
That I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30. Come home, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired that, like, anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to, like, the weekend. And I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday. So then I don't get a day off.
Then it sounds like, sweetie, it sounds like it's a you problem. You don't know how to micromanage things, you procrastinate, and I work in a factory. And I move bales, several 100-pound bales. You know what I have? I have a hand jack and my own strength. So those the things I bale are, piles of cardboard, which are a lot heavier when they're stacked up this high. Cardboard is extremely heavy. And then when it's on a broken pallet, guess what? You have to literally drag the damn thing. So I'm dragging that thing 20 feet. What do you think that's doing to my shoulders, my arms, my back, my legs? And this is a constant thing because the people there have no common sense and they keep putting this stuff on broken pallets. So I have a hand jack and my own strength. By the time I get home, do you know how exhausted I am? Within an hour of me being there, the amount of times I have folding the cardboard, putting in the baler, and then once it gets down to about here, having to constantly bend over. Do you know what that does to my back? I'm 6'4", and I have to keep bending and bending towards the ground. I'm getting home and I'm exhausted. You know what I do? I don't come in here and lay down. I come in here, Sam comes in here and sits with me for a few minutes, and I look at him and I say, Sam, I gotta get up. And he looks at me and meows, and I said, I know, buddy, but I have stuff I need to do. And then I get up and I go outside and I'm like, okay, babies, I'll be back. To my little grandkitties out there, and I say, I'll be back in a few minutes. Grandpa's got to go to Dollar General for stuff. And I do that almost immediately after I get home. I come home, I sit down for a few minutes, and then I'm out again. Though I just got home from work, I'm out again because as an adult, I have stuff that I need to do. Because I know that if I don't do it, then I will have to, it will be put off and it'll just take longer to do. I mean, hell, even it could be pouring rain out, but if I get home and it's pouring rain out and I look outside, it's like I don't want to go out because if I go out, see that? You see that right there? Yeah, that's my finger right there. That right there is the insole to the boot. So I have to go out into the pouring rain. I haven't had these long, and this is the kind of abuse that they take at that factory. So I gotta go out. My shoes are I have to order new boots soon. $60 for those things because I'm a size 14. But it's like, I gotta go out, even though I know that my boots are gonna look like a freaking water park by the time I'm done. I have stuff that I need to do. That's what it's like being an adult. You have to do things you don't like. You have to find time to do things. You have the weekends, so why not make more of an effort to do things when you get home, so that way you can relax on the weekend. So that way on Saturday, when you wake up, or you could even tell yourself before on Friday, you get home Friday, 5:30, you get home, you get your stuff done, you sweep or mop or whatever it is you have to do, and you're laying there in bed, and you can say to yourself, I'm not going to wake up early tomorrow. I'm going to sleep until 12 o'clock. Why? Because you've done everything you were supposed to do already. So now you can enjoy your weekends. Micromanage your life. Don't just, I don't have time. You need to make time.
I don't get a day to relax. I don't get to decompress. So it is really like working 7 days a week, constantly. And I don't want to do that anymore, right? Like, I don't care how poor and miserable I would have to be, but I literally can't have a place to live without this, Like, I don't know what to do. I'm not made for this.
And that is also part the reason is partially to blame on the school system. They have completely fucking failed these kids. These kids have no idea how to live in the adult world. I'm sure when you were a kid, like when I was in school, we had home ec. You know, we learned to cook and do laundry and sew. I mean, a little messy, but got a little sewing kit right there. Got me plenty of needles right there for when I need it. So, in case, you know, socks or boxers or whatever rips, I can sew it right back up because those were skills I learned in school. I took shop, you know, wood shop the first year, then second year was metal. We learned valuable things in school. You had econ class, you know, where you learned about, you know, money and the economy and how to balance a not notebook, a checkbook and how to write checks. And but these kids are unprepared for the adult world. These teachers are more focused on telling them that if they're white, that they're, you know, forever oppressors than any actual skill that they need to survive in the real world. And these kids are going out there finding out that life is hard and they're having mental breakdowns because the freaking school system, these kids' parents, whoever is in this child's life has fucking failed them. They have failed them. So partial blame on this kid for just, you know, but also the parents, the school, they have utterly failed this person. And we have seen this here time and time again, usually around the same age, generally female, but they're always saying the same thing. I'm not made for this. The school system, the any system in general that is made to help these kids has completely fucked them over. They are screwed for life now because they have no desire to work. They see work as this, oh, I'm going to be miserable. And while yes, you might be miserable at first, you need to start from somewhere. You need to start from somewhere. You can't just go in and say, oh, I'm going to be working at McDonald's the rest of my life and I demand $20 an hour. No, every person I've known at like McDonald's or Burger King or entry level, they always have multiple jobs. And guess what? Even with multiple jobs, they still have free time. A lot of them will have like a job they do. Like if I'm working the later shift and I'm working with someone like that, they'll have a job that they do in the morning and then they get off and they have a little bit of time to do whatever. And then they come into work. Even with 2-3 jobs, I've seen people have time. You can achieve it if you work hard enough for it. You can't just start out with nothing and then have everything. You need to start somewhere. And being as young as this person seems, they're just starting out. They're just starting out and thinking that an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment for $1,660 a month is the best way to start. No. And the fact that the kid's parents allowed it, assuming she has her parents, or just anyone in her life should have said, this is a bad idea. It's like, you're working at fucking McDonald's. How do you hope to pay for this place? What, did you think you would negotiate with the landlord and say, oh, well, I'm not cut out for working, so I really think you should lower the rent? And it's like, sorry, that's not how life works. The rent is $1,660. You either pay it or you can get out. Get a roommate. Get a roommate. $800 a month for each of you.
I don't have the money, time, or energy to enjoy my life outside of work, and I don't know what to do about it anymore, you know? I'm so tired.
Again, welcome to the real world. I'm 35. I'm fucking tired. I'm extremely tired. Physically, mentally, I'm exhausted. But guess what? Life goes on. The show must go on. Because in order to survive in this world, You need to give something to get something. If you want to live somewhere for free, live with your parents. Or find a sugar daddy or something like that. Because if you're wanting to be independent, you're going to have to put in the effort. And that's just something these kids don't understand. Again, every time you see we watch one of these, it's always that same line, the I'm not made for work. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You think we want to work? No. But we discovered a long time ago when we were still knocking rocks together that in order to get something, we need to give something. Something has to be given in exchange for something else. Back then, when we didn't have currency, they were exchanging livestock. Hey, you build a house for me and I'll give you a couple of goats. But then we found that, currency, actual currency that has some worth, and I've said this before, it's a lot easier to carry around, dollar bills and, like this, you know, it's easier to carry this around than say a freaking goat. So, but you're wanting a service. You have to give this in order to get a service. You want a house built for you, you're going to need this. You can't just say, hey, I want a house built, and poof, it happens. No, you need a lot of this because you're paying for the labor of that crew, the materials, and whatever else that is. Or if you are renting out, you're paying that landlord for utility, or not utility. Sometimes the landlord includes the utilities, like mine does. But you're paying for a house depending on how big it is, how many rooms, the area where you might live. They mostly, for them, it's like property tax, mortgage, and that type of stuff. And guess what? That costs a lot of this. Nothing in life is free, and when it is free, there's always a catch. So, welcome to the real world, sweetie. You don't want to work, live with your parents, or find someone who will take care of you. Life's not meant to be easy. You have to work hard to get there at first. And then once you find your footing in the world, you can make your way to where you can have your fun and all that and still make money. Right now, you're young. You might have to give up partying or whatever it is. But when you get yourself to a more sustainable point in your life, of course, hopefully by then you're out of that partying phase, things will be a lot easier. All you have to do is just acknowledge that this is how life is and just work for it. It's not meant to be fun. It's not meant to be easy. And complaining about a 40-hour work week and saying that getting home at 5:30, you're tired and you put everything off till the weekends, that's on you. And being failed by everyone in your life because no one taught you how to micromanage your life. But what do I know? I'm just an old dude with 2 jobs. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.